and welcome to Module 2, Introduction to Evidence-Based Management for Management 3300 Online. I'm Jill Bradley-Geist, your instructor, and hopefully last week in Module 1 you familiarized yourself with the syllabus and the class topics and got your profile posted. This week in Module 2 we're going to be talking about what evidence-based management is and why and how we're going to apply it as a framework for discussing basically every other topic the rest of the semester. So what is evidence-based management? Essentially, it's applying the scientific method to management. So it's translating principles based on good scientific evidence, theory, logic into organizational practices. So rather than making decisions based on purely gut instinct or common sense, we want to use good evidence to go into our decisions and our practices. And there's a big movement in the field of management to train managers, like in MBA programs and undergraduate management programs, on principles of evidence-based management and how to evaluate quality of evidence, how to get good evidence and make decisions based on it. So I have a couple books here, the images here, just as illustrative of there's a proliferation of many books, resources in the mainstream media and online about management. And some of them are great and some of them are not. And so what's important for us as we're bombarded by all this information is to be able to critically evaluate the quality of evidence. When we talk about evidence, you can talk about what we call big E, big evidence, or generalizable evidence, and then local or smaller, what we call little e evidence. So big E, generalizable evidence, is broad, far-reaching knowledge regarding cause and effect connections, and this usually comes about over time through a lot of studies, through different organizations, laboratory experiments, anecdotal case studies, and it's scientifically combined and evaluated. An example here would be something called a meta-analysis. And what a meta-analysis is a study of studies. So in management, let's say that we have a topic like we're studying the impact of mergers and acquisitions on a company's bottom line over the next 5 years. Well, we could look at one individual organization, but that might not necessarily generalize their experience to other organizations. Or we could look at a study that has several different organizations. Again, any one study might not generalize to the bigger picture. So what a meta-analysis does is a researcher would collect all of the evidence that they could find on a particular topic. So any data out there on mergers and acquisitions as it impacts the bottom line, and they statistically combine that into one study and ask what is the overall impact. You can also start to break down by looking at trends that vary along other variables. For example, maybe the size of the organization that's doing the acquisition has an impact on whether or not it's likely to be successful in terms of bottom line indicators. So you could tease apart organizations that are small versus large, for example. Now that's big generalizable evidence that doesn't always exist, or it isn't always directly pertinent to one organization's particular situation. So often we'll also want to look at local evidence or little e evidence. And this is data collected within a particular context or situation, and it's to inform a more specific decision. So it's not necessarily like we're trying to make a broad statement or understanding of how mergers impact a company's bottom line in general. We're asking in a particular situation what the impact is going to be. Another example, maybe we're looking at internal company job satisfaction survey results after implementing a new reward system. Before we implemented a new reward system, we might look more broadly at other organizations and the research to see, is this likely to work in our organization? But then ultimately what we care about is whether it works in our company. So we can collect, say, pre-post data on job satisfaction before and after the reward system.